Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Mark and I write music for all types of media, in particular live theatre, and I'm spending a lot of my time at the moment writing for Pantomime, which is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Today we are doing some composing. I've got to write some music for a particular scene in a show that I'm working on at the moment, and in this show there is one of the characters is actually a magician, so he's going to be doing a little special magic trick, and I'm going to write some underscore to go with that and hopefully enhance the whole feeling of the scene and the emotion of it, and take the audience along on that journey with us. So what happens? Well, I think this is going to be really quite magical and really exciting. So the magician takes a piece of tissue, piece of paper, and rips it up, rolls it in his hands, and some snow starts to appear from his hands. The whole thing builds, and by the end of the scene, the entire auditorium is filled with snow. Really magical. And the writer, who's Daniel Bell, and if you haven't checked out KD Theatre Productions, do have a look at their work. They are absolutely fantastic. And Daniel has written a beautiful script to go with this. It's quite emotive and very magical, and it goes through a few different emotions that we're going to try and bring out in the music as we go through this scene. So I do have a few ideas of things that I'd like to do in this. I haven't written the whole thing quite yet, so you're going to come with me on this little journey. If you've got the patience, this is going to take a little bit of time, I think. Even though it's a 30-second scene, there's quite a lot to do here. So let's just go from the beginning. I'm just going to keep writing, and I'll try and comment on what I'm doing as I'm going, but I probably won't say too much. I'll give you some justification in why I'm choosing certain things, and I'm going to share the script with you as we go, so you get an idea of how the story kind of unfolds. So at the beginning, by the way, I'm using Cubase, and I'll put that up on the screen so you can follow along. I am a brand new, I should say this, I'm a brand new user of Cubase. I've only been using it for about 3-4 weeks. I've been a Logic user forever, and have decided to make the switch to Cubase for lots of just technical reasons, really. I'm enjoying it so far, but there's probably loads of shortcuts and hotkeys and things that I don't know yet. I'm trying to learn a new thing every day, and it's going to take a while. So if I'm a bit clunky using Cubase, that's why. But you can always give me some of your own hints and tips if you'd like to help me. I'd appreciate that. Okay, so let's go from the beginning. So the character, who's called Presto in this show, he starts the whole thing off. This is right right at the end of the show. The actual story of the show has completed, and this is just before the very end section of the show, the walk down and so on. So he says, "Right, boys and girls, mums and dads, before we head to the wedding, I think I've got time to tell you one more story." And that's where our scene begins. So I think that needs kind of a do you know? I know what I mean. You will know what I mean in a moment as well, hopefully. So we're going to start off with a kind of empty, low sound. I sort of have a plan. I know that we're going to start on C, and the scene is gradually going to rise as things become more animated, and we're going to end in E major. That's my plan. Let's see if this works. So at the beginning we're in C. We need boom, boom, boom. Okay, I've selected a tempo already, so let's start with the piano. Oh, I should say over here on Cubase, This is my Panto template that I've put together over the last few weeks. At the top here, I've got the instruments that the live musicians are playing. So this is going to be a track that the live musicians are playing along to. Why am I doing that? A couple of reasons, really. Firstly, it enables me to use a much wider set of sounds to really give us a nice full dynamic sound. So I'm using things that the musicians in the pit couldn't possibly all play by themselves, so we're enhancing what they're doing. But when we're doing that, we're always thinking about what the live musicians are playing first. They're the most important people in the room. Everything else I'm doing is just hopefully just enhancing what they're doing. So you can see that those tracks I've got at the very top, that's because they will be replaced by live musicians. So I'm not going to worry too much about the piano sound that I'm using, about the bass guitar sound that I'm using, or the drum part, because they will be played by real musicians. Hooray. Okay, so we're starting on bar 2. That enables us to have 4 clicks in for the musicians so that they can orientate themselves and know the speed that the track is playing. Okay. Let's dive in. I must say I feel a little bit nervous because I've got no idea how this is going to go. Hopefully it's going to go okay. There's only one way to find out. Right, a nice low C, I think, at the beginning. Here we go. Okay, let's add the bass guitar with that. Okay, that was awful. Let's just start that again. Okay, that's cool. I'm just going to duplicate this track, if I can remember how to do it, because I'm going to have a left-hand piano. I'm going to cheat a bit and have a right-hand piano. This helps with mixing a little bit. I know that these are going to be played live, but they still need a track to rehearse to, so that will help with the mix, just because I've got such a low boomy sound at the beginning. Okay, C, something like that. I think this whole thing needs pace and energy, sort of bringing out the excitement. So at this point he's saying, snow has always held a certain magic, hasn't it? It dances in the air, transforming the world into something pure, something wondrous. But what if I told you that magic is right here in my hands? So the word that really sticks out in that first part of the script is the word wondrous. So we want something, and I suppose the air, the sense of air, wonder, purity. We don't want a huge major chord. I'm thinking just perhaps then something to just clash along with that, maybe a D. No, I do like that, but it's a bit too D flat. Ah, that's nice and wondrous. This is a bit predictable. It's already getting on my nerves a little bit. Let's do something slightly less predictable. No, something like that. Let's try it. Let's try it. like that, and then it's going to move. Then let's just step up in those chords. This is going to be a fun piano part for somebody. I'm thinking we've been there. I then want to go back to that E flat thing. Maybe a bit more clashy. Yeah. Not too much harmony, keeping it nice and open. That evokes this sense of wonder, I think. And then we'll move up to F. Right, let's do that. This is cool. I've already spoken the script through with the metronome at this tempo, and I'm pretty confident that that opening part of the script fits with where we've just got to. So let's just concentrate on this first section. I need to add the good old bass guitar underneath. We're going to keep him quite high at this point, I think. Yeah, let's add him into bar 6. Okay. I like that little twang there. That's cool. So we need some other stuff now. Let's start filling this out, thinking about what we're going to do in the track. I think at the very beginning we need a harp gliss. This will really get us going. No. So I think I've got time to tell you one quick story. Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning. Nice, that will work. Time for some strings. Have I got some tremolo strings in my template? No, I haven't. So I'm going to change this. Bear with me. I'm using BBC Symphony Orchestra from Spitfire. Absolutely love this. And really beautiful sounds. Okay. Just realised you probably didn't see that because I'm on a different screen, but there we go. That was a bit loud. Okay, violin 1 tremolo. Let's bring you in right from the beginning. Not too loud, please. Yep, it needs to be high. Sorry, let's try that again. Good. I'm going to try that, I think, in octaves with the second violin. Just to give it a bit more depth. It might be a bit too much. Let's find out. Okay, happy with this. Thank you for your patience while I'm noodling around with stuff here. What does it need next? So we've got that feeling of air there. It needs some twinkly stuff. I'm thinking about a cello line underneath because the script is quite emotive. Well, it is to me. You know, if I'm interpreting it in the right way, thinking about it in the right way, I think that, you know, a cello can really bring that feeling of emotion out. Before we do that, let's have some twinkly things. That's really important. Whoa, you're really loud. Nice. Glockenspiel. Yeah, I think so. Possibly a bit too busy. Just wondering if some of that quaver movement just needs a harp with it. We'll leave the chords to the piano. Let's just see how that sounds. Okay, just still pondering this cello idea. Let's come back to that. Yeah, let's come back to that. So next, what's going to happen next? The next part of the script, he starts to tear the tissue or the napkin, and he says, with just a thought, a simple piece of paper can become something extraordinary. But to make it snow, we all need to believe. Can you all believe? See, it's quite emotive, isn't it? It's about believing that something magical can happen, which of course we all do. So this is where the kind of magic starts to happen, and I've got an idea for this. I like that kind of figure, and we'll put a kind of a melody over the top of that, I think. Okay, let's get that down. I prefer the descending one first. Oh, goodness. Well, I don't need to play it so many times. I can just repeat it. Our quantization is at quavers, so that should all work. Okay, this is cool. put a piano tune over the top of that as well. That's quite me. Can you all believe? Can you all believe? It's asking that question right at the end there as well. Is that Dame? Oh, great, 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 great. Now, what I am enjoying with Cubase is the score editor, because it's so similar to Dorico, which I use all of the time. So we can just change that wrong note very easily like that. Nice, nice. Right, strings, strings, strings. Let's just check you're not. Always check you're with a long note that's not spilling over to the next bar, because then it won't re-trigger the next note. Let's keep those trems going. Here you go, Mr. Violin 1. No, I think we're going to keep it as we were up here, and I'll bring the violas in to give us a bit more depth there in a minute. I'm feeling that it then needs to step up. Bah! Yeah, that's where it needs to go next. Viola, we better make you tremolando 2. So just give it a bit more depth, just to help build the sound. That's not tremolo, but this is. Just to give it a bit more depth. We're trying, as we're going through this scene, we're trying to constantly build so the sound becomes bigger and bigger. That's the plan anyway. By the way, if you're still here, well done. Thank you for your patience. We're getting through this. So let's just add the viola in as well. I'm a bar out for myself. So far so good. It's kind of not twinkly enough yet. Where is my mark tree? That's what we need. That is what we need. Until I mess it up like that. Sorry. This is from the Spitfire Percussion Abbey Road library. It's quite good, but I find this mark tree very difficult to control. It's probably just me. Let's go back to that idea of a cello featured line. The solo cello in the BBC Symphony Orchestra is, I think, really quite nice. It's, as you can hear, quite a rich sound, but it's quite expressive too. It does give this feeling of emotion, a cello, doesn't it? Let's just try that. This might work, it might not. That worked out better than I was thinking. I like that. We're going to keep that. The timing might be slightly off. I need to adjust the sample. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so bass guitar, I stumbled across that little idea in the cello part. The live bass guitar could be answering that somehow. Let's be brave. Oh, don't do that, Mr. Bassist. That's where we're heading. It needs to step up at that point. I'm really feeling that. Why did it do that? Don't know why it did that little thing. Be careful of that. A Okay. The poor old drummer hasn't done anything yet. He's sat there very patiently. Ding, ding. I'm not going to spend too much time on the drum part in terms of making it sound good, because it will be played live, but I think he can help accentuate some of those little, well, the rhythm of the melody, if we can call it that. I'm using Easy Drummer 3, it's brilliant, but there's not a lot of kind of cymbal bell kind of sounds. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about how it sounds, but let's just give the drummer something to do rather than sitting there and being paid. Getting carried away with my drummer. Right. Well done, everyone. This is working. I'm just going to save. We need more twinkly stuff on that melody, I feel. Start with the Glock. Okay, here we go. Ah, nice. Really interesting. The one thing I found, this is a setting somewhere that I haven't been able to find, but the BBC Symphony Orchestra Celeste sounds completely different on Cubase than it does in Logic. Anyway, a boring fact for you. What's the harpist doing? Is it boring just to put the harp on the tune as well? I don't know. Let's find out. Might be a bit too much. Not sure about that. Perhaps the harp just needs to sit there with that accompaniment. Quite liked having that as a piano solo though, but it just gives it a little bit of richness to the sound, doesn't it? I can really feel it's wanting to step up. Right, I think we are about halfway through. Let's have a little bit of a performance so far, and I can think about what I've missed. Have I missed anything? Don't know. So, he says, I think I've got time to tell you one quick story. Nice. That works for me at the moment. I'm not going to think too much more about the content or the orchestration until I've got to the end of the whole scene. I'm also not worrying too much about the mix at this stage. You can't really, I mean, you can mix a little bit as you're going, but it's probably best to leave that until the whole thing is complete. So we're about halfway through the scene. What happens next is that he rubs this torn paper in his hands, and that's where the magic really starts to happen, and the snow will start to fly out of his hands and into the air. So I think that's probably a long enough video. If you've made it this long, congratulations. And I really hope you'll join me on the next video, and we'll do the second half of the scene and we can find out how this whole story ends. Thank you very much for joining me. If you wouldn't mind doing all the usual YouTube stuff of liking the video and subscribing to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. It'll enable me to keep growing this channel and trying out some new things like this. This is all quite new for me, and I'm quite enjoying it, and I hope you are too. Anyway, see you on the next video, and let's find out how this magical scene concludes. See you later. Bye-bye.